Hey folks, hope we're doing well. Today I'm going to be talking to you about something that I think in the community right now is a hot topic, and it's about having fun in FC24. Now, yes, we've obviously had Black Friday recently and lots of content available in the current promo, and a lot of people have been excited by it. But before that, there was kind of up in the air of, can you have fun on FC24? The game's dead, the gameplay's not fun, and so on. So I just kind of wanted to bring a broad discussion more than anything. I'll be really interested to hear your thoughts down below in the comments section as well. So do let me know exactly what your thoughts are. Now we're going to start off by talking about gameplay and what is the meta. And I think this is where a lot of people's kind of frustration and attention goes to. Now, the meta in the mechanics that are available in the game, the meta being the most effective tactics available. And what does that mean? Well, if you're sick of people driving the byline and looking for those cutbacks across, maybe looking for travellas and finesse shots and using their pacey players with step overs and, you know, whatever it may be, the meta is obviously what a lot of people are drawn towards. Now, the meta people are drawn towards because it's what gets them the wins the easiest, right? It's like when we look into other games, you know, I think about maybe Fortnite or Call of Duty. If there's another, you know, a game where, like Call of Duty, there's a gun that's particularly strong. It's about people using that and wanting to get the easiest wins. They want the quickest route to success, to get those most amount of champs wins, most amount of rival wins, and whatever else it may be. And that in itself is okay. People are allowed to play the meta and have the easiest wins that they want. And there's actually something that I kind of want to touch on you a little bit. And this is mainly more so about you finding your own play style. Now, I think you should be prioritizing fun over the meta, quote unquote. So it's kind of broken down into two ways where, yes, having the meta tools in your arsenal are going to help you massively. But if you enjoy the playstyle that you have more than chasing the wins, you're overall gonna enjoy the game more. So take, for example, myself. I absolutely love hitting the ball from long range. If it tees up on a volley from 35 yards out, I'm hitting it. If I can get a back post cross to Lukaku, to Giroud, big men, I will go for it. All of these tools, the way I like to play the game, I like to be quite a complete player. So I will play over the top through balls. I'll drive the byline. I'll look for finesse shots. I'll find ways to score from corners. I like to try and have a complete package. The area where I'm probably weakest as a player is skill moves, really. Getting inside the 18-yard box, being really fancy on the feet and looking to try and break through. That's something that I struggle with, right? But you finding your own play style. If you want to be a football enthusiast and you want to play tiki-taka, you want to play a pep style type of game, if you can, on this video game, do what makes it fun for you. Because when you play for fun over winning, I think overall you enjoy it so much more. And don't get me wrong, if you sit here and you say, okay, if I play the meta, I only drive the byline, I only go for travellas, I play what is the quote-unquote meta, like, oh, you know, I watch the pros, I watch high-level players, and that's how I'm going to play and I'm going to get the wins. Sure, you might get an extra 2 or 3 wins in Weekend League. Sure, you might get to your rival wins quicker. But ultimately, do you walk away from those games and go, yeah, I really enjoyed that? Did you try to emulate a way that you actually want to play the game? And for a lot of people, that quite simply isn't the case. So if you are frustrated with, you know, the way the game is being played, try to think about how you actually want to play the game before you go in and play. Don't just blindly copy what everyone is doing. Think about you and your individual play style. And I think that in itself is a big thing. You might play against someone that drives the byline all the time, or they look for, you know, whatever these ratty plays are that people talk about. And that's on them. They're allowed to play the game that way. Like, this is something that I think a lot of people do get frustrated with right now, that they get bored of playing the same play style against the same person. And that is what it is. There's nothing you can do about that. If you're going to play 10 players and 9 of them are basically identical, it is what it is. You can't change that. We can't change that. You know, until EA change something or patch something, there will always be these go-to methods anyway, right? That's something we always talk on. But you playing your own game and enjoying your process and your journey of you playing your game will help massively. I think another thing that I kind of wanted to touch on with regards to the gameplay side of things is FOMO. Now, FC24 and the way FIFA, obviously what it was with EA, is a repetitive cycle. Every week, there is a new promo. Your promo players from last week go down in value. You lose loads of coins. You have to constantly keep them doing those objectives and these champs and doing this and so on. Something everyone needs to get into their head with regards to FC24, it doesn't matter if you miss a week or two, because it's all about the individual promos, right? If you don't play Y promo and you come back for X promo, it's all in the now anyway. The objectives are better. The SBCs are better. Sure, your club, it'll probably take you a week or two to get some coins back in and get the fodder back up and so on. I've not played champs the last 2 weeks. Does that mean I can go and do every SBC now? No. But does it matter? No. It really isn't the end of the world. Like, coming and going out of the game is absolutely fine. You don't need to be playing every single day, every single champs, every single rival. You should be playing when you want to play, when it suits you on your terms. And I think the reason why people get burnt out and don't enjoy the gameplay in itself is because they feel like they have to play rivals, they have to play the cup, they have to play champs, they have to do everything on the game, and you don't simply have to do that. And if you want to do that, again, that's absolutely fine. That's not a problem, right? But the more you carry on continuously play it and you're playing a ridiculous amount of games, you know, in a weekly cycle, you are going to get frustrated with it. You are going to notice all the little flaws in the gameplay and so on. So definitely something to think about. When we think about playing the game, I think one of the issues that we have is reward for playing right now, and this is never going to change. You know, I think this is our own doing as a community, and you know, EA in itself for giving that. People are only bothered about playing this video game when there is something that they can get back in return, and it's not a problem that you get something back, but it's all the time. Every game mode has to give top tier rewards for us to be interested in it. And again, I'd like to think about other video games here. Now, I don't play too many other video games, let's say. I play a bit of League of Legends, I played DayZ, I've played COD in the past and I've never played Fortnite. But I like to sit here and think, if you play League of Legends, or if you play Fortnite, or you play Call of Duty, as a whole, you are playing that particular match, that particular game, for the fun element, for you to just want to play. COD doesn't have a ranked anymore. I think Fortnite does, but correct me if I'm wrong. But the idea is that you want to play and you want to try and get that win. You want to try and have a good time, but you don't come out of it going, oh, here's this reward, here's that reward, here's this. And you specifically don't in League of Legends. You either gain LP, which is their rank system, or you don't, similar to obviously champs. But it's all about, in champs and in rivals, about getting those packs at the end of it. That constant supply of give me, give me, give me, give me. While it's before, you know, if we roll it back 10 years ago, it was more so about you playing. Yeah, you get like, you know, coins when you finish rivals and whatnot, or seasons back then and divisions. It's just a little bit different now. And I think that in itself has made everybody go down the route of wanting to win at all costs because they want the best rewards. And again, that ties back into the meta, and that's not a problem. But it's just you picking and choosing. How far are you willing to go to do that? Are you going to sacrifice your enjoyment on the game because you want to try and get some packs that you probably aren't going to get anything out of anyway? Because obviously it is kind of that cycle. We do have an issue or a conversation right now in skill-based matchmaking, which I think a lot of people are unsure on what they want with this. People moan that the game doesn't have a relaxed game mode. Everything is so competitive, right? There's nowhere to chill out. And I would argue, you're right in a sense, but I think gaming as a whole has moved away from that, and it's not possible to have a relaxed game mode where there's no skill-based matchmaking, because people won't play it. Do you know what happens as soon? Well, there is a mode, classic friendly matches. That is your mode where you could go and just match anyone. But then EA went and introduced skill-based matchmaking in friendlies because people didn't want objectives tied into rivals or champs. So they moved it into there and created skill-based matchmaking before. But the problem is that before we had that, no one played friendly modes because there wasn't a reward on it. So if EA released a game mode which was broad matchmaking, open matchmaking, no one's going to play it if there's not anything on the line. So skill-based matchmaking has to be there, in my opinion, because yes, there is, for every, you know, one 20-0 player or every elite division player, there's probably 100 division 6 players, right? So if it was open, the chances of you matching someone that is highly better than you is going to be lower when you are in the lower scale. When you're in the higher scale, you're only going to be matching people that are worse than you, and it's going to be super easy to get those objectives and to get those rewards done. Skill-based matchmaking for me works as much as it is frustrating because Division 7 players only know what Division 7 players know. Division 1 players know what Division 1 players know. They both equal themselves out. Whether you're a Division 7 player playing a Division 7 player or a Division 1 playing Division 1, the games are equally as sweaty. Yes, there's more that a Division 1 player can do, but if a Division 7 player doesn't know that, it doesn't make any difference, right? The only issue that then skill-based matchmaking has is that obviously Elite Division, there is a wide range of players in that, and that some players have obviously cracked teams, which that's obviously a conversation with regards to teams on FC24 and kind of the, the level that we have there. But for me, skill-based matchmaking has to be within the game. I think it really ruins the experience for the lower level players. And I just don't think we're at a time in gaming anymore where we can have game modes where it's just completely random matchmaking. The closest I think we have to a very chilled game mode, but it isn't because it requires you to pay to enter, is draft. Draft is pretty broad. You can, if you're a high level player, you can win that relatively comfortably. But then if you're a low level player, the first round is tough as anything. So I don't really know where EA go with skill-based matchmaking. I don't think they can ever get around it. I think it kind of is what it is. Now, content. I think this is a interesting conversation right now because before Black Friday, everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people were saying the game's dead. They weren't enjoying it. And then as soon as they give us some big supplier content, people really change up their mind. And we think back to, I think it was last year when we had that, was it last year or the year before? When we had that silver promo where we had like a flashback KDB, like silver rated and stuff. When we don't have a promo every week, people go to different games. Why? Because the gameplay in itself, people don't want to play for just the gameplay. It's about giving me those packs and giving me those rewards constantly. People don't just log on to play a game of FIFA because they want to play a game of FIFA as a whole. Again, that's a very general kind of word in there. A lot of people don't. Some people do, of course. And I think different communities have different kind of expectations. But the constant supply of content has meant that when you constantly give it, as soon as you drop that level slightly, people lose interest. And I think this is what's going to happen after Black Friday, when we're not going to get as many of these SBCs, player SBCs for packs in return. People then go, oh, well, it's not as good as what it was a week ago. I'm going to go and do something else with my time. And, that's also fine. That's their decision, but it's also a conversation to be had. We've also had this year store packs, which have really changed massively kind of the enjoyment on FC24, because not now only do people get icons in their team like through SBCs, they can now go and buy icons through the store. They can buy heroes through the store. You have a whole world of issues or conversations to be had anyway about the level of store packs. For me, EA can do what they want. They're there to make money, right? They're there to make money and thrive on their business. That is the philosophy. And I don't necessarily have a problem with them making money. Like, it is what it is for me. But it definitely has changed the way that when we're looking at the middle tier cards and the top tier cards, to reach the top tier cards is so difficult. You want to go and get an Mbappe, who's one of the best strikers on the game. You go, okay, well, who's the next best striker? Son, Griezmann. And we're talking 100k for the gold Son, not even that anymore. I mean, he's dirt cheap now. You go and do the icon SP, you go and do his SPC, that was 700k, and then to a mil, and it's like, but it's still like 2.5 mil for Mbappe because he's so unique. Some of the icons are just so cheap still, even though they changed away from the base, the mid, and the prime. They just have one. Some of the icons are so cheap as well, and it has overall. If you go and look at this stage of the game now to last year, there is just an absurd amount of special cards in comparison to this time last year. Obviously, we had the World Cup last year as well, which did change things slightly. But in terms of now, we have these massive wide range of special cards. I personally don't have a problem with it, along with Evos. Like, the more cards that you have, I think you can create more uniqueness. Going back to my original point of that, if you find your playstyle, especially with playstyles, you can find teams that kind of suit you. So for me, some of the cards we've had, and I've gone for some of these bigger players like Lukaku and Giroud that lead my front line right now, has meant that it's kind of ticking the box for everyone. But there is conversations to be had again that you go and buy these special cards, and then because there's more coming out next week, they lose value right now. One of the reasons why I run an untradeable team and an SBC account predominantly. So it's certainly good, bad in both ways on however you want to look at it. Kind of going back to the original topic and the original conversation about, can you have fun on FC24 in terms of gameplay and content? Yes, you can. The content supply that we have is a lot, but I think my whole idea behind this video and the conversation I wanted to have was that it's down to you how you want to play the game. If you are chasing the most amount of wins, you can get that by playing the meta. If you want to chase the most amount of wins by playing your own play style and mastering your craft at whatever it is that you want to do on the game, whether it's tiki-taka and possession, whether it's sitting deep and hitting on the counter, whether it's playing crosses, whether it's being really good at skill moves and really good on the left stick, whatever it is, you can still get the 20-0. You can still get into the elite division. You can still get from division 10 to division 7. Whatever your goal is, you can do it when you find your way of your enjoyment. Not so much focusing on what others are doing, but what you are doing on the pitch and kind of having fun with that. And the reason why, we kind of had this conversation is more so that we put a tweet out the other week asking people, do they play like for the meta or do they play for their own enjoyment? And the vast majority really do just chase those wins for that never ending cycle of give me packs, upgrade my team. Give me packs, upgrade my team. Draw it back a bit. Remember why you play in the first place, for that enjoyment of you wanting to replicate whatever football it is that you want to play and get wins in the process of doing it. And you can do that. There are multiple ways to play this video game. I would argue FC24 is probably, you can play every playstyle. I think the only one that really struggles, and once we have playstyle pluses on more cards that have it, is tiki-taka. I think first time passes are really bad on this game. You want to move the ball quickly, you can struggle with that. Obviously, AI movement in the attack really isn't great as well. But if you want to cross, if you want to play possession, if you want to hit on the counter, if you want to play through balls, if you want to drive the byline, if you want to be good on the sticks, if you want to skill move, I think there are a lot of tools and a lot of ways to score on this video game. And that for me is a positive. So have a little think about it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.